So as everyone knows from our previous videos, this Miata is the darling of what has now become kind of a fleet. I think we have enough cars that we can safely call our collection a fleet at this point. Part of the reason this car has been such a darling for us is because it's just been dead reliable since we've had it, and we bought it 2010, bone stock, beautiful car, and of course we had to go and bitch it up. But track wise, I mean, we've been running it since like 2012, 2013, and we switched to a 2.5 8 years ago. And in those 8 years, that 2.5 has never let us down. It has just been reliable. It gave us the horsepower and torque that we wanted, and it's been cheap, which was really the important part for us, because Miata drivers, you know us, we like to be cheap. But one of the downsides of the 2.5 is that you are limited in the power that you can get out of it. Nobody has found a reliable way to get more power out of the 2.5. You go forced induction, you aren't going to make it past the whole session, much less an entire track day. People have tried to go the naturally aspirated route. You know, they said, oh, you do cams, you do this, you tune it, you can get like 200 wheel horsepower. I've yet to see one make it halfway through a day. They just do not seem to respond well to power mods at all. So I have been perfectly happy keeping this as is because it's been fast. One of my favorite parts about this car is that almost every single track day, someone comes and finds me in the pit to ask, oh my God, what have you done to this car? Like, have you turboed it? Have you supercharged it? You know, did you do like some sort of LS swap? Obviously not, you know, it still sounds like a Miata. So I like watching their eyebrows launch into outer space when I tell them that it's a stock 4-cylinder motor that's making 170 horsepower. So as far as I'm concerned, this 2.5 can stay forever and ever because I'm perfectly happy with the power that it's making.
But I'm not. Since we've started tracking the Miata, it started with a 2-liter stock motor making 140 wheel horsepower. Then we went to the 2.5 making 170 wheel horsepower. I've always felt that 200 wheel horsepower would be like the sweet spot in the car. I thought I could get there once people start adding cams and lightweight pistons and higher compression. We could just build a 2.5 and get there with just the motor that's in the car. But at every event that we've seen somebody that's had cams, a turbo, a supercharger, they're either throwing belts, blowing motors with the turbo, glued to the laptop tuning it all day because nothing's right, or the cams. I haven't seen one that's really outrun our stock 2.5. So none of those really made sense to me. But finally, K-Miata brought out their K24 swap for the Miata. So Brando went out and found himself a donor car. One of the other swaps we looked into before we did this has been the LFX swap. That's been out for a couple of years now, actually for a while, from V8 Roadsters. It's pretty, to call it a swap is really, you know, being generous. It's a lot, you know, from what I've seen, it takes a little more finesse and re-engineering of some stuff and fixing along the way that I didn't want to do. I wanted to buy a kit that was fully fleshed out, that I could swap in the home garage, that would give the Miata a 4-cylinder, stay with the 4-cylinder so we don't ruin the weight balance, still give it the characteristic that the car deserved. I didn't want to go too hardcore with a V8 or anything that ruined the chassis. So the K24 was the natural way. For some of you who've been there, you can tell by the sticker that this was a Copart car. It came from Orlando, you know, so it's rust-free underneath. It looks brand new underneath the car. Outside has an issue, but it was a certificate of destruction car, which means it can never be titled again. It can only be exported or stripped out for parts. So I don't feel bad about ruining a good car. These motors, K24 motors, normally go for, you can get a JDM motor, $800 to $1,000. This is an 06, which has the bigger valves. It's like 1 millimeter bigger and a little bit better cam. This car has 74,000 miles, and I won the auction for $775. Yes, so after I get rid of selling some other parts, I'll basically have a free K motor. Takes time, takes coordination. You have to know how to do these, how to buy them through a broker if you don't have a license, but that's where we're at. So we're gonna take a quick walk around, show you the car that I bought. It's actually a very, very, very nice car. If it didn't have a certificate of destruction, honestly, we'd probably fix it and give it to one of the nieces or nephews. But it is, as you can see, the interior needs cleaned a little bit, but it's in excellent shape. Seats aren't cracked. Everything's, you know, where it should be. No fading. All the body panels are straight. Hardly any air issues on it, except for the Camry dent. Until you get to this back corner. So this is the damage that totaled it. Looks like either something backed into it, tractor trailer, they backed into something, broke a suspension arm, bumper. Yep, just the bumper, and then this quarter panel. So I'm assuming because this is integrated and they would have to chop and replace this, that the repair was more than the value of the car. I mean, the car needs new tires. That's really the only maintenance thing that looks like it was neglected on this car. So we'll go ahead and check out the motor, which was the most important part. I didn't inspect the car before I bought it. I went off the pictures to assume that it was a good car. It was listed as running and driving, which is exactly what it does. It does run and drive. But the pictures showed a very clean K24. And again, this is the 06 to 08, should be a little bit better than the JDM motors. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up. She fires right up, runs like a top. See if you can hear this. If you are going to buy a car, Copart, a couple of things I want to just mention to look out for. Sometimes it helps to buy the Carfax on it. I did the Carfax on this because I had a couple of Carfaxes left in my account. So I pulled the Carfax, had really good service history. All the oil changes were when they should have been. Before I started the car, when it got here, I checked the oil to make sure it had oil in it and make sure it was clean. It looks like the oil change was just done. It's beautiful. It was full to the top. So that shows that somebody at least did the maintenance on this. The other thing you want to look out for on Copart is Google the VIN. When you look at the car, take the VIN, plug it into Google and look for old pictures. Because a lot of people, what they'll do is, what I've seen, is they'll, like if this car was crashed in the front end and the bumper's missing, they'll put the bumper on just enough so it can take pictures and it looks fine, but it's lipstick on a pig. Or they'll do a crappy repair to it and try and resell it on Copart. So you end up with something that's bad. I've been through a couple of these auctions. I bought a lot of parts cars so far, and these are the little tips I've learned. So be careful when you're doing that. Check the Carfax, Google the VIN, and zoom in on the pictures really well and look for all the issues. I'm going to be taking over the build series of this from now, and we'll talk about why when we look at the rest of the swap. So the reason I'm going to be taking over this build is, you know, K-Miata has been announcing this kit for a while. I reached out to them. I've been reaching out to them for years for this kit, to be honest. I emailed, called, and hit them up on Instagram for probably about 5 years now, asking for this swap. So once they announced it, I reached out to them. I said, hey, I want to be an early adopter. I want to get this in the car. I've been wanting this for years. They said, okay, we got a couple slots open for pre-orders and whatnot. I put my name down for the pre-order. I've been back and forth on actually spending the money because for anybody watching this video, you know this swap is not cheap up front. It's pretty expensive. So I've been back and forth, decided to pull the trigger on Wednesday, June 12th. The reason I know it was Wednesday, June 12th is because I got laid off on Thursday, June 13th. So the day after I placed the order for this expensive swap, I got laid off. So right now I got some time on my hands to finish this swap. So I'm gonna be taking it over, start by stripping the TSX, and then we'll go over the install into the Miata and what you want to do to the K24 before you put it in the car. So laid before you is the basic swap kit, couple of extras, and I did go with their exhaust. It's a full 3-inch stainless steel. It's an option. The reason was just ease. I didn't want to have to take the car to a custom exhaust place to have the exhaust done to it and wait and have it fitted. Theirs is beautifully done, V-banded. I've seen it on other channels, Speed Academy specifically. where it fits up perfectly. I love V-band exhausts. One thing I didn't expect, and the first thing I'm going to highlight in the kit here, is in the exhaust option, this little adapter. I'll bring it up here. It's a V-band to a stock Miata exhaust adapter to the muffler. So if you want to create or make a stainless or like a 3-inch race pipe, a race single, or any other type of axle back solution, this is included in the kit. It wasn't mentioned. The guys at K-Miata have been, K Industries have been phenomenal. They help tailor the kit for you, but I think this was just like something that they forgot they included in the kit. It's amazing. Like these little details are what makes this kit so nice. So obviously we've got many items. It comes with the transmission adapter, the flywheel to keep the stock Miata drivetrain. That's one of the huge things I wanted to go with this swap, because it keeps that wonderful 6-speed. You don't have to swap in a different diff, a different anything. Still keeps the power plant frame from the diff to the transmission. Everything's where it should be. It's a great solution using the adapter and their custom flywheel. I'm using the Flying Miata clutch that we still had in the car. It's great. I don't see any need to upgrade it. It should handle the power perfectly with no problems. The K24 only puts out 180 feet-pounds of torque, which is what we had out of the 2.5. So there's really no upgrade in torque. So that should work. Their wiring harness is phenomenally done. I wouldn't say it's motorsports grade, but it's definitely above an OEM harness. It all numbered, all coded. It's beautiful. Raychem heat shrinked. Of course, connecting that wire harness is the Haltech standalone. Of all the cars we've ever done, this is the first time we've gotten into a standalone system, which I'm really hyped about, because you can do all the fun stuff like, flat foot shift, different levels of traction control, rev match downshifting, although our feet rev match absolutely perfectly. Comes with all the brackets. You can read up on all this stuff. One thing I want to point out is this little magical bracket. This allows you to keep the NC Miata stock power steering. So this is the adapter that takes the stock power steering pump to the K-Miata motor. To the K24 motor. We've been tracking the Miata for years. We know the steering is excellent. We love the feel. It's a simple setup. I didn't want to have to adapt and start playing with like pressures and stuff. Once you start messing around with power steering pumps, matching them to racks and that shouldn't be matched, it can become an issue. So that's awesome. The rest of this stuff, like I said, you can check it out online. I did get a couple of the optional extras. I got the Unit 2 baffled oil pan because it's going to be seeing a lot of track time. So we want to make sure that oil stays where it should. I did order their fluid damper main pulley. They undersized the main pulley to underdrive the accessories, so you're not overspinning the power steering pump, you're not overspinning the alternator. Seemed like a good idea to do at the time. And again, the guys at K Industries will walk you through the whole build, talk to you about what you're using it for, and then start to tailor it to your own needs. They were phenomenal. Yeah, so other than this absolutely beautiful exhaust header, there's not much more I want to point out. I would like to get this ceramic coated just to help protect that side of the car from the heat.
So before we start tearing into the TSX and pulling the K motor and dealing with the swap and everything, first things first, we have to pull the 2.5 again.
And we're done.
I've kind of been in limbo. My 6 Series has been in the body shop since October, and it is right now August 11th, so it's 10 months, we're almost to a year, and it's not his fault or anything. He's had a lot of stuff on his plate, and that car was a little bit more damaged than we expected, so I will be getting back to 6 Series stuff. It's been in the body shop, and I know I haven't posted in a long time, but it's not because we haven't wanted to. It's just I've been insanely busy the past year, and editing videos does take a lot of time. But I still care about it. I still care about this channel. I do when I start getting stuff produced, and it's going to start with the K-swap. So Brandon's going to be doing the vast majority of the work, and you'll see me pop in from time to time, but mostly you're going to be entertained by old Brando here. So if you do want to follow along with this project, please do. We'll be posting lots of videos and going into as much detail as we can, and we're posting this obviously from our home, so we want to showcase this from the point of view of a home garage. We don't have the resources of a shop. We do have a lot of knowledge between us, and we have a decent selection of tools, but we don't have a lift. We don't have air tools. It's just us, our hand tools, and our engine hoist over there.
So when this swap is finished, we'll be posting track videos. We have tons of 2.5 track videos that we can overlay with this. We also have 2.0 track videos. So we're going to show the progress from 2.0 to 2.5 to K24 on the same tracks, same wheels, same tires, very similar setups. So it'll be really interesting to see where we land.
Yeah, we both have our own guesses for our lap times that are going to be at like Sebring and Homestead, so we'll see how close we get to there. I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is being able to steer with the gas pedal a lot more than I can in its current form.
Yep. Okay.
All right, well, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Take care.